questions I get asked by women speakers, entrepreneurs, authors all the time is this: Lisa, how can I get more bookings? How can I speak more often? And I always say, actually, the real question is this: what kind of a speaker do you need to be in order to get booked more often, in order to be speaking more often? And this is the question I want to pose to you. And so today's training is going to help you understand how you can get more bookings, but more clearly, what kind of a speaker you need to become in order to be known and visible and be seen as someone who others want to hire and book. If you don't know me, my name is Lisa Vanderkwaak, the CEO and founder of Speak to Transform Academy. And I help women entrepreneurs, kingdom women entrepreneurs in particular, speakers, authors, coaches who want to know how to turn their personal experiences into powerful messages that not only impact lives, but also generate income to create a profitable lifestyle business. I hope that's what you want to do, because what you're going to learn today are 3 areas that I discovered many years ago as I started out as an entrepreneur and as I started out speaking as well as a speaking coach. I discovered something that really changed the direction that I took my business. And I believe it was a God moment. I began to notice, probably like you, that many stages were filled with men. There were very few women speakers. Now, there were women speakers, and some of them were great, but predominantly there were just male-dominated stages. Now, this was many years ago. It is still true today. However, there is more and more opportunity today because of the internet, because of the proliferation of the online world. And I want to encourage you to take advantage of that. There are definitely a lot more opportunities, a lot more stages, and a lot more women speakers. However, not all the women speakers are those who are in high demand or high impact and be sought out to get booked and over. So I want to share with you something that I discovered many years ago. I was listening to a panel of experts. They were event organizers who were responsible for hiring speakers for top influential stages like for Tony Robbins and people like that of that caliber. And as I listened, I discovered something very interesting that actually excited me. They said that they had the most difficult struggle that they had was finding women speakers who had the same skill set, the same caliber as their male counterparts. And as they began to explain this, they began to unpack what they looked for in women speakers to hire to get on these stages. They began to list off a number of things. Now, this made me excited because what I heard were all things, they were skills that could be learned. That means it gave hope to any woman who wanted to become an influential speaker, who wanted to be known, who wanted to get more impact, who wanted to get in front of more audiences. If you are coachable and willing to learn these things, you can not only become a dynamic, transformational speaker, but you can also be seen as someone who others want on their stage. There's more to it than this, but these are 3 areas that you're going to learn today. Whoops, not 3, not 4, 3. 3 areas you're going to learn today that will help you to kind of look at what you already do, what you already have, and how you need to maybe adjust how you show up as a speaker, who you are as a speaker, not compromising your authenticity or who you are, but how you deliver, how you show up, how you present in order to be seen as someone who others want to book. Are you with me? All right. Many years ago, I began to coach this young woman, but she had multiple businesses. She had an MLM, she had another business, she was a coach, and she was speaking a lot, actually, but she realized after engaging with me over a number of events that I did and so on, that she needed to change how she was speaking because she wasn't getting the results that she needed, or she was just struggling with not getting on the stages that she wanted to. So as I began to work with her, I realized something, that she was using her speaking to kind of give a smorgasbord to her audience. Do you know what I mean? Just like, here's everything that I do. I do this, I do this, I do this. And if you want to know more about it, you can contact me. So she had lots of different directions she was going in. Have you ever heard of a speaker, or have you ever heard a speaker who was kind of all over the place? Maybe they had some good things to say, but you were kind of left thinking, okay, so what was the point? What's your point? What exactly do you do? Or what exactly you're trying to say? Maybe you've been that kind of a speaker. I know I have been at one time. So today I want you to recognize that you don't have to stay that way. So here's the thing that she needed to learn. I'll call her Rita. She needed to learn how to have a clear, concise message. And this is one of the areas that top event organizers and hosts look for when hiring women speakers, or when booking women speakers to be in front of their audience. They want someone who is clear, not just clear in their own head, but able to deliver a clear, concise message. They have a clear, concise message. Now, why is it important? Because when you're clear and you're able to deliver a clear message, your audience will be clear. They will know exactly who you are, what you stand for, what it is that they can expect from engaging with you. I want you to write this down. Less words can give you a bigger impact. Learning how to use less words, less content in a way that's clear and concise and compelling can actually have a greater impact on your listener if you know how to do it well. And this is a skill set that you can learn. There's kind of a few layers of skills embedded in this right here. Putting together the message, being able to clarify and hone down and synthesize down what it is that message is, and then have an improvement structure to deliver that message as well. So the first area that you need to understand is, as a speaker, you need to be clear, concise about what you do and who you are, so others get to know that and say, hey, I want to hire her because she speaks on this. She's an expert in this area. This is her area of specialty, her area of anointing, whatever it might be. When you're clear, people will be clear. Others will be clear as well. And you'll leave your audience with a very clear impact. The second area that you need to understand is what kind of a speaker you need to be in order to get booked more often, is that you need to be able to connect personally and deeply. So when I say deeply, I'd say at the heart. Okay, this is all about going from just giving information to evoking transformation, from not just thinking it's all about you, but it's about your audience. It's not about what you have to teach, but it's about what your audience is taking away. It's about connecting with your audience in such a way that they feel like you're speaking directly to them, that they're thinking, wow, she gets me. She understands my struggle. She understands what I've been through. She understands the frustration. She understands where I'm at and where I want to go and where I want to get to. You can't do that if you're not clear about who it is you're speaking to. You're not clear about the message that you have and how that message will help the people that you're meant to impact. So it'd be able to connect with them, you first need to be clear, but then you need to be able to deliver that in a way that's clear and learn how to help them so that they see that, yeah, she gets me. She knows what I'm going through. She knows and she understands the process. So being able to connect with them also involves you being authentic, being real, being able to share a part of your life with them that relates to them, not just all parts of your life, but the part that's going to connect with them and engage them in the place where you are serving them in the highest manner. You understand this also involves getting to know what are the needs of your audience. What do they need? And how can you speak their language? So this is very intentional. Now, I mentioned a structure here, a structure also helps you to connect more personally with your audience. It facilitates you being able to freedom to connect. Just think about it this way. Think of a river. Rivers that do not have riverbanks are kind of all over the place. They can cause a lot of damage, and people don't want to be around that area. But if a river was confined within a riverbank, it can actually flow much more freely. It can go faster. It can actually go much smoother and in the direction that it's meant to go. And then people also know where to come to sit by that river, to glean from that river, to really experience, enjoy that river when it has the riverbank as a guide to direct it. The same thing for a proven structure for your message. When you have a proven structure, it acts as a guide and a harness to help you to go in a certain direction, to be more smooth, to be able to have a flow with it, but also people know what you're about, and it gives you the freedom to engage with them at any point. It's kind of like also riding a bike or driving a car. At first, you're like, oh, too much. I've got so many things to remember how to do, and it feels so awkward. But as you begin to put it into place, implement it, and master all the different pieces, you begin to just put in your own personal style and flow, and it becomes second nature. It becomes second nature. So it is with a structure. It helps you to actually become more free and flexible and to have a greater impact for the people that you're trying to reach. And connection rather than perfection is an important skill that you need to develop if you want to get booked more often. People don't want to listen to perfect speakers. They don't want to listen to perfect people. They want to listen to relevant and real people who are able to connect with them at a heart level. So first of all, clear, concise message, being able to connect at a heart level. The third is being able to give a clear, strong call to action. Almost use a permanent marker. That would not have been good. CTA means call to action. A clear, strong call to action. Several years ago, there was a research study done on women, and scientists thought, hey, there's so much more choice available to women these days that they probably have an easier time making decisions than they did in the past because of so many choices. But the results actually show the opposite of what they thought it would. The fact that women had more choices available to them, more options available, actually paralyzed them, made them have a difficult time making a choice. And most times they didn't, or their choice was to do nothing because they didn't want to make the mistake. They didn't want to make the wrong choice or miss out on something else. So it actually created more anxiety in them. And this is the same thing that will happen with your audience if you do not have a clear, strong call to action. What do I mean by that? Well, first of all, you need to have just one next step. Not multiple, not even two, just one. No, Lisa, but you know what? There may be people in my audience who don't want to do this or don't want to take this offer. There might be others who do this, maybe a lower offer. Doesn't matter. You need to have one. You need to speak to one. You're not speaking to everyone. You're speaking to a demographic within that audience, an audience within an audience. Again, that clarity helps you to tailor that invitation to a specific person as you speak to them, and they know it's for them, not just one. You're speaking to one, but there's going to be more than one. It's a specific need, a specific way of serving a demographic. The others will come, but in your message, you need to have one exact next step. This is really, really critical. The other thing is, don't wing it. Don't just leave it till chance. You actually have to plan it out. You plan it out so that you know exactly what call to action you want them to take. And here's the other really important element about this skill set. It's not a pitch. It's not a pitch you tack on at the end and change your tone and people go, oh no, here it comes, and they feel really awkward. No, it's not that at all. In fact, you need to incorporate through your whole message because you're clear about where you're going and what action you want them to take, how you want them to act upon their desire. you're going to create a desire. You're going to cultivate within your message an opportunity for them to step into that. And all along, you're building desire in them to want to take that next step, whether it be to work with you, to buy a product, to engage in a product, a service, or program, whatever it is. The only thing you do then is you give them an invitation. You extend an invitation to them, knowing that it's not for everyone, but those who have the desire will engage with you. So it's not a pitch. It's looking at it from the perspective of you are serving your audience. You've given them a message that will help change their life by shifting maybe their mindset, their behavior, some things like that. And now, in order for them to actually fully experience that, there's an action they need to take of some sort to create that momentum, to create that end goal that they want, that outcome. And so you're just serving them by inviting them to take that next step. You can think about this in the context of sharing the gospel. You could share the gospel if you never invite people to actually respond to the gospel, then you leave them hanging, wondering, what am I supposed to do with that? I want that, but how do I do that? Yeah, they might come running after you, or they might just sit in confusion. So you want to give them an invitation, but the invitation needs to be very authentic, very real, and very organic in that regard. That's a skill that you need to learn. And it needs to be very clear and strong. Okay? So you've probably seen the table rushes at some events in person. That's what happens when you do this. And so whether it be online or in person, these elements of your speaking all play a role. They all come into play in terms of you being seen as a speaker who's going to serve their audience. Your job is to get to know the audience that you're serving, to be clear about that. Now, if you don't know that, then I want to encourage you to start there. If you do not have any idea, then I want you to take some time to journal about that. So why do I want to speak? And who do I want to speak to? What is the burning message on my heart? Now you might be saying, well, Lisa, this is all fine and dandy, but then what? How do I get booked to speak? Do I just kind of sit there? No, of course not. If you're a speaker, you start speaking. So you could start on your own stage. And I want to encourage you to do that. In fact, that's one of the things that I help women entrepreneurs and speakers do, is to generate income from their own stage. And I help you to know how to do that in a way that's profitable and impactful. And that's an area of my expertise as well. But the other thing is to be able to then write down, okay, where are the places that I want to speak? Maybe there's a podcast host that you really, really like her and you'd love to speak to her audience, or there's an event that happens in your city or in another city, a conference that happens that you'd really like to be a speaker. Make a list of your top 10 areas that you want to speak, what stage that you want to speak on, whether it be online or offline, or you could take 10 on one for the online and 10 for the offline or in person. And then put together your media sheet, your one sheet, which really outlines who you are, what you talk about, what is that transformation you give, and how you can serve their audience. And then once you have that one sheet all done, and I do this in Canva. In fact, I have a template that I use that you're welcome, if you don't have a media one sheet, to either click the button down below and let me know that say, yes, Lisa, I'd love a copy of that, or send me a message on Facebook, wherever you're listening to this, I don't know. But let me know that say, yeah, Lisa, I'd love to have that media sheet template that you talked about in order for me to create that one sheet. What it is it's a one sheet that has all the information that a host needs, an event organizer needs, to know whether or not you're the right choice for them. Listen, you want to make it really, really easy for event organizers and hosts. You don't want them to have to go searching for you online and just say, oh yeah, my name is Lisa Vanderkwaak, and yeah, just look me up. They're like, how do you spell that? Make it really easy for them. And that's what the one sheet does. It helps them just be able to go click some links, see that, or read. Maybe you've got some links on there to videos where you're speaking or something like that. So they kind of get a feel for who you are. And then what you do is you take that and you approach them by email and say, hey, can I set up a time and chat with you? Or if it's by email, send them a voice message and say, listen, I have been watching you. I've been listening to your podcast. Now, don't say this unless you have. And so if you want to be on there, I'd encourage you to actually listen to their podcast or to attend their conference and say, I really like what you do. I love your program. I love your conference. I love the people that you serve. I love what you stand for. And I got to thinking that I would really love to serve your audience with my message. I believe that I have something that might add some value to your audience. If you are looking for some guests or some speakers, I would love to be considered. Let me know and I'll send you some more information. Or you could say, I've attached my media sheet to give you more information. Let me know if you want to set up a time where we can chat and talk about more details. Reach out to them, but have the information. And listen, I say 9 out of 10 times, you're going to get a yes. 9 out of 10 times if you do this. If you already are clear, you have a clarity, and when you get in the door and you have that media one sheet that's clearly outlined and you know how you can serve their audience, what value you can bring, because remember, it's not about you, it's about the audience, not about what you have to teach, it's about what they're going to take away. So you want to be clear about that. And once you do that, once you get in the door, now you got to deliver. And when you deliver with all of these elements, you will become known as a speaker that others want to interview or others want to have on their stage. I hope this has been helpful. Let me know your biggest takeaway and how I can serve you and help you to become the transformational speaker that you are called to, because I know God has given you a message that only you can deliver, that is only yours to deliver, because there's people waiting to hear what you have to say, because you're the one that makes the connection to bring it into reality for them. And I want to cheer you on, and I want to help in any way I can for you to find your voice, to own your story, and to really step into your place of influence and speak with confidence, clarity, and transformational impact. Have a good day.